Good Tavach, everyone. As we are sponsored in our journey through this Masechta, co-sponsored by the Zepkowitz family in honor of their parents, co-sponsored by Mr. and Mrs. Eddie Chazan, Lefu Shalema for Yedidya Bas Ben Penina, Shoshana Bas Penina, Simone Bas Rachel, co-sponsored by Binyamin Rivlin, Lila Nishmas Yitzhak Ben Avram Yehuda Levi, co-sponsored by Shelley Zeidlin for his children, Orit and Ellie and Ora, and sponsored by Berich Goldwasser for Shalema for Meishmeya Ben Estefradel, Dov Meir Ben Chaya Gittel, and Akarsa Toif to the Shir by Shalom Fogel, Lila Nishmas Yaakov Zeb Ben Yehuda Aryeh, Rivka Bas Yaakov Yosef, Tzivya Miriam Bas Gad, and Yosef Ben Tzion Ben Yaakov Zeb, that the Neshama should have an Aliyah. We have two tall blot waiting for us. One thing I could say is it's a good thing we didn't have this Gemara on Pesach, because then we would be learning sometimes 4 blot. So it's long enough to learn 2 blot. We are holding on Tzadik Daled Amud Aleph, and we are holding a little bit ahead. We're holding by Lamarba Hamisra, which is 11 lines from the top. 11 lines from the top of Daf Tzadik Daled Amud Aleph. Lamarba Hamisra, to the increase of the officership authority. U'l'shalom ein kates, and to peace there's no end. So we find an interesting thing, that usually a mem in the middle of a word is not written as a mem sophis. So Amrab Tanchim Dorsh Bar Kapar B'tzipurei Mipnei Ma Kol Mem Shebe'emtza Teva Pasua. Usually a mem in middle of a word is written open, a regular mem. V'zeh sosim. In the word lamarbe, this is a anomaly. The word lamarbe, the mem is enclosed in the middle of the world. And that's coming to teach us that there was a very lost opportunity with Chizkiyo. Bikesh HaKadosh Baruch Hu la'aseh Chizkiyo Mashiach. Hashem wanted to make, it was a very great opportunity. Hashem wanted to make Chizkiyo Mashiach for Sanhedrin Gog Magog. And Sanhedrin, who he would topple with great miracles, the war of Gog and Magog. But the prosecutor, the attribute, the strict justice, had a tain on Chizkiyo. Rebbeinu Shalom, Omad David Melech Yisrael Shama Kama Shiras V'Sishpachos L'Fanecha. Madach David HaMelech, who said many songs and prayers before you. Lo Yasisa Mashiach, Chizkiyo She'asisa Lo Kol Anisim Alalu. You did for him all these miracles. V'lo Yamar Shira L'Fanecha, and you didn't say Shira before you. Taseyu Mashiach. Should we make him Mashiach? L'kach nistatein. The mem of Lamarba is sealed to show that the opportunity of Mashiach, that's mem is Mashiach, was sealed off. We have to know, this is a reminder to us, that when good things happen to us, we should immediately say Shira, we should immediately say Moedim to Hashem in our own words. So now, the earth came in and said, Miyad Pascha Aretz V'amar Lefanav. Immediately the earth said before Hashem, Rebbeinu Shalom, Ani Meres Lefanecha Shira Tachas Tzadik Zeh. I will say song instead of this righteous person, V'asayo Mashiach, and make him Mashiach. Pascha V'amar Shira Lefanav. The earth immediately said song before Hashem, Shenema Miknaf Ha'aretz, from the corners of the earth, Zmira Shamanu, songs were heard, Tzvi L'Tzadik, to do the desire of the Tzadik. Amar Sara Olam Lefanav, the Sara Olam, which perhaps is the Malach Metatron, that is the sorrow of the world, Rebbeinu Shalom, Tzivyono asay l'tzadik zeh. Do the desire of this righteous man and make him Mashiach. Hiskiyahu was a very great man, as we will see. He brought Torah all over the Jewish world. Yatzabasko the Amra, but a heavenly echo came out. Razi li, there are secrets to me. There are secrets to me, hidden things to me that I don't make Hiskiyahu Mashiach. Amar Navi, Yeshaya said, Oili, woe is me, Oili, woe is me, Ad Mosai. Till when will it be that Mashiach will come? Yotzabasko v'amra, Boigdim, there will yet be those that will be treacherous, and Boigdim bagadu, treacherous people will act treacherously, Uboigid Boigdim, and then treachery on top of treachery will have to happen, bagadu, before Mashiach will come. V'amar Rav of Yisei Rabbi Yitzchak, ad asu bozazeh, until the plunderers come, or bozazeh the bozazeh, and those that plundered the plunderers. There's going to be many changes and upheavals before Mashiach will come. Masa is a heavy prophecy. Duma, a lie kore, one calls to me Misayer, from Sayer. Shomer, oh, the one who guards. Ma milayla, what is of the night? Ma milayl, what is of night? What happened is as follows. Duma, we know, is the malach of the dead. The dead are usually silent, right? Le'amesim yahalaluka, v'lo kol yordei duma, and not those that go down to Duma, who's in charge of the dead. Duma means silent. So, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, in way of, we're going to have some cryptic psukim over here. In way of explanation of the pasuk, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Oisei malach hamamuna al haruchais, the malach who's in charge of the souls of the dead, Duma shmai. Niskaptzu kol haruchais eitzel Duma, all the spirits gathered to Duma, Amru loi shaymer, you who are watchmen, ma melayla, shaymer ma melayla, what's with the night? When will this long night end? What's the story? Amar shaymer says, Asa vaiker v'gam layla, it's yet time. There will come morning and not night, but when it comes to the Mashiach, im tiva'oyin ba'oyu. If you want to ask. There's still time to ask. And shuvu, when Klal Yisrael repents, then Esayu, then he will come. Tana, we learned in the Braisa, Tana mishum Rabbi Papayas, Gnayu lechizkiya v'tziyata yishalayam rashira. It is a disgrace to Chizkiya and his colleagues that they didn't say shira, and they had to be, trumped by the earth. Ad shepascha haaretz v'amrashira, until the earth opened up and said song. Shenema miknafa haaretz zmiris shemanu. From the corners of the earth, song was heard. Tzvi l'tzadik, to do the desire of the righteous. Similarly, we find that one person jumped and did what many great people did not do. Blessed is Hashem asher hitzel eschem, who saved you. Tanur mishum rab papios. Gnayu l'Moshe b'shishim ribu shaloi amru baruch. It's a gnai to Moshe Rabbeinu and the 600,000 that didn't say baruch. At shebo Yisro v'amar baruch Hashem, until Yisro came and said baruch Hashem. Now, of course, over here everybody asks, what do you mean? Klal Yisrael sang to Hashem and they said Oz Yoshim. So there are different answers to this question. One of the answers to this question is that they didn't use the formula of Baruch. Baruch, as we start Shemona Esrei, Baruch Atah Hashem, is a very high level. And they didn't use, in Az Yasha, they didn't use Baruch. That's one answer that they give. Another answer that they give is that Klal Yisrael gave Shira for what they experienced. Yisro said Baruch, although he didn't experience it. He was in Midian. He didn't experience the salvations that were, and still he said Baruch. So he was the first one to come as an outsider and say Baruch. Vayichad Yisrael. Now, Yichad is, its literal translation is that Yisro rejoiced. Rav Shmuel, Rav Amesheher Cherev Chodal B'Sarai. That Yisro circumcised himself and became a Jew. And the word Vayichad comes from Chod, a sharp knife. Shmuel Ameshenas Chidudim Kol B'Sarai. He got goosebumps. Now, remember, Yisro lived a long time in Mitzrayim, and when he heard the fate of the Mitzrayim and that 9 million Egyptians died, it affected him because he still had a relationship with Egypt. Amar Rav, Hainu de Imre Inche, this is what people say, Giyura, a convert, at Asara Dare, for 10 generations, Loi Savaza Armoy Kamei. Don't talk disparagingly about a guy in his presence, because those are his ancestors. And although he's separated from them, but he still has a feeling, a relationship. L'chein, therefore, Yishalach ha'odam Hashem tzvakos, therefore Hashem, the Lord of hosts, will send b'mishmanov, to those that are fat, rozain. He will send poverty. Mai b'mishmane rozain. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yavai Chizkiyo sheyesh lo Shmei Neshemes. Let Chizkiyo, who has 8 names, v'yipara misancherev sheyesh lo Shmei Neshemes. So that's pshat. Yichein yishalcha adam Hashem tzvakas b'mishmanav. He will send Chizkiyo as 8 names to attack Sanhedrin, who has 8 names, and he will give the Sanhedrin poverty. He will end with Sanhedrin's death. Chizkiah, where do we say that Chizkiah had 8 names? Ki yeled yulad lanu, a child was born to us. Ben nitan lanu, a son was given to us. Vatia misra al shichmai, he will have rulership on his shoulders. Vayikra Shmai, and he will be called. He will be called Kel Gibar, a mighty warrior. Pele Yayitz, a amazing advisor. Avi Ad, he will be a father forever. Sar Shalom, a prince of peace. So the Gemara counts each one of those compositions as 2 apiece. So Kel is 1, Gibor is 2, Pele is 3, Yoetz is 4, Avi is 5, Ad is 6, Sar is 7, Shalom is 8. Says the Gemara, what about the name Chizkiyo itself? Says the Gemara, Va'ikra Chizkiyo, there's the name Chizkiyo itself. That just means Shechizku Ka, that Hashem strengthened him. Dover Achir Chizkiah Shechizik Es Yisrael Aviyim Sheb'Shemayim, that he strengthened Klal Yisrael to their father in heaven. Now, how do we know that Sanhedrin has 8 names? Sanhedrin, D'chsiv Bei Tiglas Pileser, Shalmaneser, Pilneser, Esnapper Rabba V'Yakira, Sargon, and Pul. So let's see how that breaks down. Tiglas Pileser is 1, Shalmaneser is 2, Pilneser is 3, Esnapper is 4, Rabbah is 5, Yakira is 6, Sargon is 7, and Pul is 8. Says, well, what about the name Sanhedrin? Va'ika Sanhedrin, what about the name Sanhedrin? Shesichasai Riv, Sanhedrin is a corruption of Sichasai Riv, that whenever he spoke, it was with argument. It was very contentious. Davar Achar, Shesach v'nicher dvarim klapei mala. He spoke and snorted out words against the Rebbeinu Shalom. This is Amar Rabbi Yochanan. You know, the title, Osnaper Rabba V'Yakira, the great and honored Osnaper. That's a very, very, very lofty title amongst his peers. Why did he merit getting such a title? Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Bnei Ma'azacha Oisei Rasha L'Kroisei Osnaper Rabba V'Yakira. And the Gemara says, you know why? Because he didn't speak derisively, he didn't speak disparagingly about Eretz Yisrael. What?
No, derisively.
Derisively, and disparagingly about Eretz Yisrael. Mipnei shaloi siper begnusa shel Eretz Yisrael. Shenemer ad boi v'lakachti eschem el Eretz ke'artzachem. I'm going to take you, and I'm going to take you to a land like your land. I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to exile you and relocate you. And he didn't say, I'm going to take you to a land better than your land, but a land like your land. Rav and Shmuel, it's actually a machlokes Rav and Shmuel about the whether Sanhedrin was a wise or a foolish king. Rav and Shmuel, it's machlokes Rav and Shmuel. Chadam HaMelech Pikeach Haya, he was a wise king. V'chadam HaMelech Tipesh Haya. One says he was a foolish king. L'mandam HaMelech Pikeach Haya. I amino lehu, if Sanhedrin would say to them, Adifa me'araychu, I will exile you to a land that's better than yours. Amru, they would say, Kamishakarta, you're lying. There's no place superior than Eretz Yisrael. Umandam HaMelech Tipesh Haya, they could say, if you're taking us to a land that's just like our land, then why would we want to move? Im kain mai revuse, what are we going to benefit? Now the question is, although we know that Sanhedrin was not able to conquer Chizkiyahu and Yerushalayim, but he did conquer the 10 tribes. That he did. So Lahecha Aglei Lahu, where did he exile the 10 tribes to? So Mazutra Amar LaAfrika. Mazutra said that he exiled them to Africa. Reb Chanina Amar Laharei Slug, the mountains of Slug. Aval Yisrael Sipru B'Gnusa Shel Eretz Yisrael. However, in contrast, the 10 tribes, they spoke disparagingly about Eretz Yisrael. Kimatu Sais, when they were exiled, and they went on a journey. So when they reached Sais, Imre, they said, okay, Shavya Kiaran. This land is equal to Eretz Yisrael. Kimatu Almin, when they came to Almin, Amru Ke'almin. This is like our world. However, Kimatu Sais Trey, when they came to a place called Sais Trey, Imre Al-Chad Train. This place is double the worth of our land. So they spoke disparagingly about Klal Yisrael. Now, we're going to learn about a lot tonight about the miraculous destruction of Sanhedrin and his army, one of the most vast armies ever gathered against the Bnei Yisrael, and it was at a time when Chizkiyahu didn't even have an army. It's a stupendous miracle. When the soldiers were killed, the Sachas Kvoidai, underneath their honor, Yikad Yikoid Ki Yikoida Eish, burnt a fire like the burning of fire. Now, covered refers to one's clothing. Amar Rabbi Yochanan Tachas Kvoidai, only underneath their clothing, but their clothing remained. So the Gemara says, like Kvoidai Mamish, it doesn't mean their body, it means their clothing. He called his clothing that which gives me honor. Rabbi Lazar says, no, their bodies weren't burnt either. only their souls were burnt. Rabbi Lazar, mitachas kvoidei mamish, kisreifas b'nei Aaron, like the death of Nadav and Avihu, when two laser-like beams of fire came out of the Kodesh Kedoshim, broke into four, and went into both of their two nostrils and burnt their neshama. Malahalan sreifas neshama, the soul was burned. V'kuf kayim afkan. So also by the Assyrians, sreifas neshama v'kuf kayim. Okay, we did already a quarter. Really amazing. This is really amazing. I told my wife that it's a big Kiddush Hashem. People come to learn such a vast amount of Gemara. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'hakol niyeh b'dvaro.
How many of Sancheri's people were killed? How big was the army?
We'll see later on. It's a question if it's literal, but the Gemara says a number that is so astronomical, you don't hear this number ever mentioned. The Gemara says 2,800,000,000 people.
Oh, okay.
So Barry wanted to know if he could take them on his own. Absolutely not. There is another pasuk that says initially 185,000 people were killed overnight. 185,000 is a little bit more of a reasonable number, but we'll talk about it yet. Barry is in a rush, but we'll talk about it.
Because Mitzrayim, he said, were 9 million.
9 million. This is the original number that's mentioned by the Gemara is a lot more. But there is a big question in the Maral and others if the number should be taken literally, because that's like there would be those that say that the population of the entire world wasn't that much in those days. But anyway, only somebody like Barry is old enough to remember those days. The Gemara now tells us, Tana mishmei Reb Yeshua ben Karcha, Paro shechiref ba'atzmai, Paro who committed blasphemy against Hashem himself, Nifra HaKadosh Baruch Hu mimenu ba'atzmai, Hashem punished him himself. Sancheriv shechiref al yidei shliach, we'll see that Sancheriv sent it. He had a servant, Rashveka. So he did it through his servant. Nifra Kadosh Mimenu Al Yidei Shliach. He was punished through a shliach. Paro the Chsiv Paro who said himself, Mi Hashem Asher Eshma B'Koila, who is Hashem? I should listen to him. Nifra Kadosh Baruch Hu Mimenu Ba'atzmai. The Chsiv Vayanar Hashem Es Mitzrayim B'Seich Hayam. Hashem shook the Egyptians in the water. On the other hand, Sancheriv, the Chsiv Biyad Malochecha Cherafta Hashem, in the hands of your agents, you blasphemed Hashem. It says, excuse me, I skipped. And it says that you trampled in the water Paro's horses. But Sancheriv, the Chsiv Biyad Malochecha Cherafta Hashem, by the hands of your agents, you blasphemed Hashem. Nifra HaKadosh Baruch Hu mimenu al yidei shliach. Hashem punished them through a shliach. The Chsiv Vayetze Malach Hashem. We'll see that it's Gavriel. Gavriel went out. Vayach b'machana Ashur, and smote in the camp of the Assyrians. Meyo shmeina v'chamishim elef. 185,000 people. Rab Chanina bar Papa Rameh. Rab Chanina bar Papa asked the stira, Ksiv Merom Kitzai, that Sancheriv says, I'm going to reach out to your exalted end. The Ksiv Meloin Kitzai, I'm going to reach out to the end of your lodging. So the question is, which one is it? Amar Aisa Rasha, Sancheriv was so deluded and was such a megalomaniac, he said, Batchila achriv dira shomata, first I'll destroy God's residence below, and then v'achakach achriv dira shomala, then I'll destroy his residence above. He was delusional. Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, my dechsiv, what is written in the pasuk we'll see that Sanhedrin claimed that he had divine basis to attack Yisrael. He says, "D'chsiv ata now, hamim baladei Hashem, olisi el hamakam hazeh lashli." So, do you think without Hashem's awareness, I'm going to destroy Jerusalem? Hashem Amar Elai, Hashem said to me, Alei ala oris hazais v'ashchisa, go to this land and destroy it. So the Gemara says, what is Sanhedrin talking about over here? Mahi. The Shama L'Navi de Ka'amar, he heard Yeshaya saying, Yan kima sa'amar zeh esmei hashiluach ha'olchim lat, since this nation, meaning Klal Yisrael, this was disgusted with mei hashiloach, the waters of Shiloach that go slowly, umisos, and instead they're happy with Ritzin, who was the king of Aram, uven Remalyo, and Pekach ben Remalyo, who was the king of the 10 tribes. Amar Rav Yosef. So Rav Yosef said, the truth of the matter is, this is a very cryptic pasuk, and ilmole targuma, if not for the targum of this pasuk, the Ikra, lo avi yadana mai kama, we wouldn't know what the pasuk is talking about. We would have no clue what the pasuk is talking about. Chalaf, in exchange, the kotz Amah Hadain b'malchusad beis David, they rejected the house of David, the kings of Yehuda, the kings of the Davidic dynasty, the Medaber Lahain ben Yoyach, who led them gently, Kemei Shiloach, like the waters of Shiloach, the Nogdin ben Yoyach, that flows gently, and instead V'Israel b'Ritzin, they were happy with Ritzin, the king of Aram, Uvar Ramalia and Pekach ben Remalyo, who was the king of the 10 tribes, and therefore I will give them over for destruction. Am Rabbi Yochanan, Ma'idich Siv Me'eres Hashem bebeis Rasha, is a curse of Hashem in the house of Rasha, Unevei Tzadikim Yavarech, and the dwelling of the righteous is blessed. Me'eres Hashem bebeis Rasha, the curse of Hashem in the house of the wicked, Zeh Pekach ben Remalyo, Shaya Oichel Arbam Sa Geizolos Bekinuach Suda. He ate 40 saw of pigeons for dessert. Unevei Tzadikim Yavarech, Zeh Chizkiya Melch Yehuda, Shaya Oichel Litra Yarek Basuda. Just a liter of vegetables for the meal. Now, it would seem to be that the bracha was by Pekach ben Remalyo, but what it means is that by Pekach ben Remalyo, they had to eat so much and they still weren't satisfied. By Chizkiyo, they had a small salad and that satisfied them. That's bracha. Now, Sanhedrin said that Yeshayahu was forecasting the destruction of Yerushalayim. The Lachain, therefore, since Klal Yisrael preferred these wicked kings, Pekach ben Remalyo and Ritzin, over the righteous kings of the Davidic dynasty, Lachain hine Adonai ma'ala aleim, Hashem will bring upon them, esmei hanor ha'atzumim v'arabim, the waters that are mighty and plentiful, es melech Ashur, the king of Ashur. Uksiv v'cholaf b'Yehuda, and it will pass through Yehuda. Shafaf, it will swamp them. V'over ad savar yagia, and will pass up to their neck. So the Gemara asks, so then if Sanhedrin had already divine permission, Elamai taimi yanish, why was he punished? So the Gemara says he had no right to come against Chizkiyo and Yerushalayim. Novi Aseres Hashvatim Isnabei. The Novi was prophesying about the wicked 10 tribes. Iu Yov Daiti Al Kul Yerushalayim. He set his eyes on Yerushalayim. But Navi v'amalei, the Navi came and he warned him. Ki loy muaf la'asher mutzak la. Ki loy muaf. Muaf is a reference to those that tire themselves on Torah. They will not be given to those that oppress her. Rabbi Elazar ben Brachya, as Rabbi Elazar ben Brachya explains, a nimtzer am oyev b'Torah, a nation that wearies themselves with Torah, will not be given miyad min ha'meitzik to those that oppress them. And by the way, Rabbi, so you see the praise of Chizkiah, which brought protection, is people that weary themselves with Torah. Now, it's very likely that after a long Shabbos, and even if a person slept at Shabbos afternoon, but still a person was in shul, and he ate the sudas, and maybe he went to a shir, and he went to shalosh sudas, it's still, a person could be weary, and then to come on and listen to two very long blat, right? We're wearying ourselves with Torah. We're wearying ourselves, and especially if somebody goes and takes the step of missing a hockey game. I mean, could you imagine could you imagine the level a person and a person misses a hockey game to be by the daf? It's mamish. It's like Michal Avram says, you score a goal when you do that.
My goal is to be here.
That's good. Says the Gemara, my ka'es harishin, what does it mean? The first time, Heikel Arza Zvulun v'Arza Naftali. The first time, he dealt only with the lands, lightly with the lands of Zvulun and the lands of Naphtali. V'achrain, and afterwards, hichbid derech hayam, more heavily by way of the sea, by Eivra Yarden, and by the Transjordan, Glil Agoyim, that which is was the desire of the nations. Now, literally, this pasuk is saying how in steps he attacked the 10 tribes, first Zvulun and Naphtali, and then those that were on the Transjordan, and those that were the attraction of the Goyim. But the Gemara homiletically translates the pasuk differently. Like Karishainim, the fate of Chizkiah will not be like Karishainim she'kelum aleim ol Torah. Not like the first ones. When it says hekel, it means that took lightly and neglected the yoke of Torah. Torah is the protection. Aval achrayim, but the latter ones, like Chizkiah, shechbidu alein ol Torah. They took seriously the yoke of Torah, and therefore uyen lasas lemneis, when it says derech hayam, that they were worthy to have a miracle ka'ivra hayam, like those that crossed the Red Sea, ukidorchei hayarden, and those that crossed the Yarden. Im chayzer, if Sanhedrin changes his mind and assists mutav, v'im lav, if not, ani esel galul b'goyim, I will make him a mockery amongst the nations. Now, there's a lot of psukim over here that the Gemara is interpreting in a very dissecting way. Achar advorim v'emes ha'ela. After these words, and emes reference to Torah, like it says, emes knei v'al timker, acquire Torah, never sell it, right? Torah's emes. Bo Sanhedrin melech Ashur, v'yavoi b'Yehuda, Sanhedrin, the king of Ashur, came. He came to Yehuda, v'yichan al ha'orim ha'betzurus, and he camped against the fortified cities. Vayomer levikam elav. What? What line? Again. Vayomer levikam elav, and he said to destroy them. So the question is, what did Chizkiah do to deserve the terror of being attacked by at least 185,000 people? There was for sure much more than that. We don't want to make it less dramatic for Barry. It was for sure more than 185,000 people. So the Gemara says, Hai Rishna, Lahai Pardashna? Is there such a deserts to such a great noble? I mean, why did Chizkiah deserve this? So the Gemara says, Achrei advarim ve'emes, achar mai. Why did Sancherv come in an attack? Amar Ravina la'achar shekafetz HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'nishba v'amar, Hashem jumped, so to speak, and swore, if I tell Chizkiah that that I'm going to bring Sancherv with hordes, but I'll deliver him in your hand, Chizkiah will say, I don't want him, and I don't want the fright. I don't want to scare everybody. I'm going to bring Sancherv, and he's going to meet his end, and there's going to be a big Kiddush Hashem. If not, that what I thought will come to be, like I counsel it shall arise. Lishbor Ashur ba'artzi, I will break the armies of Ashur in my land, Va'al horei avusenu, and I will trample him on my mountains. V'sar ma'aleim ulai, his yoke will be removed. V'subalai, and his burden, me'al shichma yasser, I will remove from the shoulder of Chizkiah. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yavai Sancherv v'siyatoi, let Sancherv and his hordes come, v'ye'asa avos, and they will become a trough, l'Chizkiah l'siyatoi, for Chizkiah and his colleagues will see that all of their animals, their thousands and thousands of animals, were food for the animals of Klal Yisrael. V'hoya b'yaymahu, and on that day, Yosur subalu me'al shichmecha, I will remove the yoke from your shoulder, v'ulai me'al tzavarecha, and the yoke from your neck, v'chubal oil, and the yoke will be removed nipnei shaman, because of the oil. What's pshat? So here we're going to see that it's clearly Torah. You know, in Eretz Yisrael now we have a situation where the government is not happy with the Bnei Yeshiva learning. They're trying to force them to be drafted. So here the Gemara says, "V'chubal ol mipnei shaman." If you want to know what's going to remove the yoke of the enemy, the oil. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak Nafka, chubal ol shel Sancherv. The yoke of Sancherv will be removed, mipnei shamnai shel Chizkiyahu, because of the oil of Chizkiah. Sheyadoylek b'bati knesios b'bati midrashes. He made sure that there was always royal oil burning in the synagogues and the study halls to further Torah, and that was what was going to win over the 185,000 generals of Sancherv. Me'asa, Noatz Cherev al Pesach Beis HaMedrash, Amar stuck a sword in the door of the Beis HaMedrash and said, this was a symbolic gesture, those who decide not to learn Torah, Yedaker b'cherev zu, should be pierced with the sword. It was a royal mandate that everybody should learn Torah. But to Midan vad Beersheva, they checked from Dan to Beersheva. V'leimatzu ama aretz, they didn't find one ignorant person. This was a royal time for Klal Yisrael. Migvas vad Antifris, they check from Gvas Antifris until Antifris. V'lay matzu tinik v'tinaikis, they didn't find a boy, a girl, ish v'isha, a man or a woman, shaloya b'kiyam b'ilchus tumah v'tara, that didn't know the complex laws of tumah v'tara. V'al oisa adaru aimer, and on that generation it says, v'aya b'yaymahu, yechaya ish eglas bakar shtei tzayin. People lived with a calf and 2 sheep. In other words, that was enough for them. And they spent time learning. Even though they had 1,000 vines worth 1,000 pieces of silver, and generally, but even so, even so, the vineyards were left and they were overgrown with thorns and thistles. Apple pisha elef gefen be'elef kesef lashama v'shayis yeh, they were overgrown with thorn and thistles because people didn't pursue extra wealth, but they sat and they learned Torah. It was a very grand time for Klal Yisrael, that he promoted learning amongst the masses. Baruch Hashem, today also we have a tremendous amount of learning amongst the masses with the advances of not just Daf Yomi, but the other disciplines of Harevna, of Araisa, of Kinyan Masechta. There's so many different disciplines of people learning. It's such a wondrous time in Klal Yisrael. Ve'usaf shlalchem, the booty will be gathered like oisef echosel, like the gathering of grasshoppers, of locusts. Amalem Navi Yisrael, isfu shlalchem, gather the booty. As I said, they destroyed 185,000 people and more. There was a lot of booty. So they said, go and gather the booty. So they wanted to know, is it going to be all go into one pot and be divided? Or is it whatever you find, you take for yourself? Amulai livazais, is it to plunder? Or should everything go into a central pool and be divided? Amalahem ke'osef echosel, like the gathering of the locusts. Ma'osef echosel kol echad ve'echad la'atzmai, each one gathered for itself. Av shlalchem kol echad ve'echad la'atzmai. So what about the money of the 10 tribes that's mixed inside? Because we know Sanhedrin attacked the 10 tribes. There's Jewish money mixed in. So he said, Kimashak gave him shaykek bay. Like the tumultuous sound of water is there here. Ma gave him halalu malanes adam mitumalatara, just like water raises a person from tumah to tara, causes a transition, causes a change. Mikvah is matar a person. Af moment shel Yisrael, so the Jewish money came in shenafel biyad avdei kechavim, when it falls in the hands of the idolaters, miyad tir, and you can keep it. Rapapa, Rapapa, as Rapapa. Kidamar Rapapa, like Rapapa says, Amanamayav tiru b'sichon. Although we're not allowed to attack Amanamayav, it says Itzotzabahem, you're not supposed to attack them. But when Sichon conquered it, and now therefore it belongs to Sichon, then we were allowed to take it. So Sichon, so much, so to speak, purified it for Klal Yisrael. Now, on his journey to attack Jerusalem, Sanhedrin traveled 10 stops. He traveled through 10 stops on that day, which it was a miraculous. It was Kritzas Haderach. Shenemar bo al Ayis. It first came to Ayis. Over b'Migrain, he passed through Migron. Lemichmash Yafkid Kalev. In Michmash, he left some of his arsenal. Avru Mabara, he passed through Mabara. Gava Molon Lanu, Gava was a lodging for them. Charada Harama, Rama was trembled. Giva Shol Nasa, Giva Shol fled. Tzali Kolech Basgalim, Basgalim should raise their voice. Hakshiva Laisha, hear Laisha. Ania Anasais, answer those of Anasas, or Ania, the poor people of Anasas. Nodida Madmena, Madmena was exiled. Yoshve Hagavim Heizu, the inhabitants of Gavim exalted. In this day yet, the intention was to be benaiv. Yenoifef Yadai, he waved his hand on Harbas Zion, the mountains of Zion. Give us Yerushalayim, the hills of Yerushalayim. Now, if you count the marches here, it's not 10, it's 12. Hanituvahavim. Says the Gemara, Tzali Kailech Bas Galim, raise your voice. Bas Galim, Novihu de Ka'amalei L'Knesses Yisrael, Tzali Kailech Bas Galim, you should shout, Bas Galim. Bas Galim means Bita Shel Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, the daughter of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, She'asa mitzvahs kegala hayam, that did mitzvahs like the waves of the sea. Hakshiva Laisha, and when Yeshaya said, listen, Laisha, Mehailoi Tisvei, don't be afraid of this. Don't be afraid of Sanhedrin. Sanhedrin, he's going to be finished in one day. El istafei min Nebuchadnezzar harashel de misil ka'aryeh. You should be afraid of Nebuchadnezzar, who's compared to a lion, and a lion is, one of the names of a lion is Laish. Shenema ola aryeh misuvchai. A lion comes out of his lair. Now, the Yeshaya continues, Ania Anasais, poor Anasas, Asid Yirmiyah ben Chilkiyahu, Yirmiyah ben Chilkiyahu is destined to come, Umisnabe Allah Anasas, and he's going to prophesy from the place of Anasais about the downfall of Yerushalayim. The Chsiv Divrei Yirmiyahu ben Chilkiyahu, Min HaKohanim Asher Ba'anasais, from the priest in Anasais be'eretz Binyamin. Just going to pause a moment over here to change the channel.